G'day guys, Steve Morgan here from Australian Bass Tournaments, and this is the last massive event on the Australian Bass calendar for 2019, the Rapala BASS Australian Open, held up on Glenbawn Dam, another one of the Hunter Valley's amazing bass fisheries, and we're hitting it at exactly the right time of the year. We have around 60 boaters entered, and it's a boater only tournament. We're using our New South Wales fisheries permit where they bring in 5 bass a day for 2 days. There is around $30,000 cash in the prize pool as well. So somebody, just like Peter Phelps last year, is going to take home $10,000 first prize. And with 60 boats, 12th place takes home $1,000. So there is a heap of cash to be won. But that's not all the anglers get. They also get a whole lot of free stuff. Let's go and have a look at that before we talk to some anglers about how their pre-fish went. Let's come and have a look. Now, I have 4 letters that all tournament anglers love. SWAG, swag. It stands for stuff we all get. And when you enter the Australia Open, the Rapala Australian Open, you get a lot of Rapala and Storm lures. Come and have a look at what the anglers get as part of their entry fee. One, they'll get one of the Rapala Arashi spin baits. These featured pretty heavily in the first ever Storm Bass Australian Open up at Lake Glenbawn. They get a little square bill crankbait, one of the Rapala Brats BXB. All of different colours there the guys can choose from. They get one of the great Rapala Jack Deeps. Now these are not only good for flathead and mangrove jacks and stuff in the mangroves, they're great for Australian bass as well in this nice clear water at Glenbawn. They also get the famous Rapala Skitter Pop. These are a balsa topwater bait that the bass will be absolutely smashing because the topwater bite here is just starting up. And of course, what fisherman doesn't need a pair of braid scissors or the precision line cutting scissors from Rapala? So it's a good little pack. It's worth around $100. The anglers are going to get it here at the briefing this afternoon at Aberdeen Fishing and Outdoors. There's going to be a sausage sizzle on. It's great fun until the serious fishing starts tomorrow. So let's go and have a chat to some anglers about what they think the lake's going to do this weekend. So we've got Nick Price here from Aberdeen Fishing Tackle. And Nick, you've got your finger on the pulse of what's happening up the lake. You're telling me that the fishing's been going well, at least recently, and it's really picked up.
In the last 2 weeks, as the water warms up, fishing's just getting spectacular.
Now, this is a 5-fish limit. We've got the New South Wales fisheries permit for the boaters to have 5 fish each. What weight of 5 fish do you think they're going to need to be right up there?
I think, so the fish are long and skinny at the moment, but I would think you'd want to have a couple of bags over 5 kilo to be up there with the best of them.
Now, you run a very bass-specific store in here. I look around the walls, and anything you're going to need for Glenbawn or the Hunter Valley or any of the cost of the Suffolk Bass Pro Tour, you've got it on the walls. How have the guys been? They've been picking the eyes out of your good stuff, or what? Yeah,
they have. We carry a lot of different stuff as well. So whether you're into drop shotting, wacky rigging, multitudes of top water, if you want to try different stuff, we carry it in the shop because that's the beauty of bass. They don't just take the one thing.
And if you want to get sorted out for your next trip to Glenbawn or St Clair, come and see Nick in the shop here and he will sort you out with the baits and the tackle you need. Rolling. We have Brian Everingham here. Brian, you won a bass cat off us last time we gave one away in the bass circuit. You must be a favourite here at Lake Glenbawn, mate. How did your pre-fish go today?
I had a bit of a hot and cold pre-fish. I found fish early, then had a real dry period there for a couple of hours. Went back to what I was doing in the morning and found them again. So I'm hoping that's going to last me a couple of days because I only found them on a couple of banks. So yeah, so if they stay there and not too many people sting them, I hope that they'll hang in. So yeah.
Awesome. And what weights do you reckon you need each day to do well?
I reckon you'd want to be at least 4.2
a day.
A day, yeah. A lot of the fish I weighed today they were good length but light on. So I don't think they're anywhere near the quality of St Clair fish, but there is quality fish there somewhere. I know a couple of lads pulled some nice ones today, so yeah, it's just a matter of finding those kickers and moving on, I think. So whether I'm good enough to find those kickers, I don't know. It's going to be a tough slog tomorrow in the wind.
And what do you think about the guys that caught the good ones today? Is that peaking too early?
Well, they're fishing the right areas if they're finding the big ones. So, like I said, a lot of my stuff was very average today, sort of only that 38, 39 fork length. So, and I just couldn't find those bigger models. But yeah, so I feel the lads finding those bigger ones will definitely help their bag improve heaps. So, yeah.
So, Liam Carruthers, I noticed you've shaved down for this tournament. How far up did the shaving go? All the way to the top?
I went as high as it could to accept the cooling. It's pretty warm here, so I knew we were going to overheat. So yeah, I definitely took the initiative to invent some slimline cooling.
You're known for your Brim Grand Final win, but you fell in love with the bass a bit, mate. How did your pre-fish go today?
Yeah, I've definitely fallen in love with the bass, mate. I think it's got a bit to do with Coney geeing me up all year after AFC. So, my pre-fish, I certainly did the field a favour, and I didn't sting him at all. I struggled out there. So we generally call it brimming for bass, but when there's a bit of wind out there, generally you can't brim for bass as good as you would like. So I'm going to adjust tomorrow. It's definitely going to be a reaction bait from what I think, and I think I just need to think like we're in Victoria and let that lure suspend and pause a lot longer than what I've been doing today.
And I think it's the weights are going to be the same. Down in Victoria, you need about 5 kegs a day to be in it. Here, about 5 kegs?
It's probably a bit easier. Oh, I'm not going to say that actually, but yeah, 5 kegs, definitely.
So we have Mitchell Cone, perennial favourite on Glenbawn, mate. How long's it been since you've bent the rod up on the lake?
I got down for an afternoon the weekend just prior to the cut-off. Had some boat troubles, as we know, which ended it short. So shout out to Big Sump for lending me his boat, and we're ready to rock tomorrow.
So you're in stealth mode this weekend. No one is going to know what boat you're in.
I like it that way. It's good. I waved to a few people who didn't know who I was today, so yeah, hopefully we can keep it like that for the rest of the weekend.
Mate, you need to grow those hair out, mate. Big ginger dreadies, I know who you are.
Oh mate, I got the hood. I'll have the hood on tomorrow hiding, so no, it's looking like a good comp.
Everyone's saying the bass in the lake are a bit poor condition. What sort of weight per day you think you're going to need to be up the pointy end?
I still reckon you're going to need 5 kilos. I reckon you're going to have 5 to be, 5 each day will have you in contention on the last day, I think. Maybe with a kicker in amongst them, but yeah, kilo average.
The other thing I noticed on the lake, the water is crystal clear. I can see the bottom in about 12 foot of water. Yeah. What do you need to do in the clear water to catch fish as opposed to dirtier water?
Oh, mate, I don't think we're going to have a trouble this weekend. The wind's meant to blow, so it's going to help stir it up, but long, accurate cast, that's about the only thing. You can't really go light to get the bite, so they say, because they know where the structure is and there's a lot of it that you can't see. So long, accurate casts, I think, are a big part.
Got Keegan Painter here. Keegan did really well in the Angler of the Year this year in ABT, and he's here trying his luck at the Open, mate. Last big event of the year. How did your pre-fish go?
Yeah, pre-fish went well. It's always the thing, you don't want to sting them on pre-fish. No one wants to win pre-fish, but compared to a couple of weeks ago, there is some healthy fish getting around. You just got to look for them. It wasn't like St Clair, where you could just cast and cast and cast and get good fish, but they're still out there.
We saw 2 men of you at the grand final. There was Pumped Keegan, and then there was like, where the hell are the big fish, Keegan? What do we got this weekend?
I'm hoping it's the first one. It should be Pumped Me. As long as it stays Pumped Me for 2 days, it's all right.
What sort of weight do you think we're going to need here to be at the pointy end of the leaderboard after 2 days? 5 kegs a day?
Yeah, I actually reckon it'll probably be pretty close to St Clair. I reckon like 4.5 to 5 kegs a day. That's probably what it's going to take to get it up and going, I think.
Have a couple of likely looking suspects here. Jake Shireen, who's been on fire this year, catching him wherever he goes, and Al McNamara, who is dead set he's either first or last in these venues. Al, the lake is crystal clear out there, 10 to 12 foot visibility. How did your pre-fish go today?
Like everything else this year, not real good. So I caught a few fish, not too many, a couple other bites, but I've got no real pattern at the moment, so just have to get out there and see what banks are available and I'll just try my hardest.
Anyone who watched the Bass Grand Final highlights will know this is the hardest striking man in fishing. Really whacks at home, that hook made with the jig. There was a couple of little sort of Nancy strikes from some of the other guys, but you really set that jig home. How did your jig go out there on the lake today?
Yeah, I caught fish, but whether or not they're going to be there, I mean, everyone pre-fishes pretty hard when they probably shouldn't. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they're actually still there or they all got caught.
Yeah, there might have been 500 fish caught today, mate.
Yeah, well, you sort of leave a spot and then you see someone go and you're like, damn it. And then it's, 2 or 3 times during the day. But I did catch a fish I wish I didn't today.
So you're one of the stingers too?
Yeah, it was an accidental sting. It was like, I just want to see how big it is. And then, it was a bad choice.
Put us in the framework. How big is a big fish in here for you?
I think big fish in here is probably 1, 2, I suppose. That's the ones you're going to need to be up there. That's the way I'm seeing it. So there's a lot of the 8, 900s around, I think. So
they're the difference makers, the 1.2s?
Yeah, the 1.2s I think will be the make or break.
And Alan, you're a local here. What sort of weight do you think you're going to need to be at that pointy end?
Minimum 5 kilos, I reckon. I dare say maybe 5.5. Like those 1.2s when they turn up. there are bigger. I did hear of a few the other week, 1.4s and 5s. But, at least 5 to 5.5 kilo a session.